So, as I was his clerk, I was able to read, vast amounts of books that he would purchase, that he had in his own library. I was able to just sink my teeth into Islam to the point where it was beautiful. I lost myself in Sheikh Husri recitations of the Quran. I was able to have the Quran on tape. I know how to read it and write it. I just immersed myself into the Sunnah, from all the different hadiths, Ibn Dawood, Tirmidhi, Sahih Muslim. I just read everything that I could get. I read. I taught the different brothers their experiences, and it was this romantic thing. If this is the way man's supposed to be, and I understand, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands man in all his ways, what he think he know and what man think he don't know. Islam gave me a way to keep myself the way I'm supposed to think, the way I'm supposed to react, the way I'm supposed to respond. So I have lived so much a part at 40. I have lived half my life being emotionally hijacked, allowing somebody to say something to me or that's going to cause me to react a certain type of way. Islam taught me to, you stay a Pacific type of way. The outside can't erupt. So, Islam again went to great levels. Imam Ghazali, reading his works, it gives you again a sense of purification and what that means. Not just an outward purification, but a purification of, again, I'm not gonna listen to gangster music or rap music or that type of thing. I'm not gonna pollute. It shows you how to reach a certain level of, and it gives you a step. You don't have to just believe in blind faith. Well, my evolution as a Muslim from 1994 to 2000, I'm gonna say maybe 2001, 1995 to 2001. Again, I never knew the difference in terms of Shia, Sunni. Never even crossed my mind. I must have didn't even catch on to what other people were saying, period. And most of the material that I read, I would have to say in a large, I was a Hanafi school of thought, just based upon most of the books that I read that I know now. Those scholars were Hanafi scholars. So my understanding and frame of reference to Islam was from a Hanafi perspective. I think one of the things he has said, one of his quotes that he's known for being quoted for, he said that when they asked him who should have been the caliph after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, whether it should have been Imam Ali alayhi salam or Abu Bakr, he said that Allah wasn't going to question him on their judgment about that. So he wasn't going to worry about it in his lifetime. That's what he reported to have said. So that was my stance for a long, long time. When people started to talk about it and I ran into different guys, I even reached the level of imam in the prison at one point. I was the most learned person there. But when I would encounter guys who were quote unquote Shia or something like that, I just would dismiss them with that reasoning. Allah ain't gonna question me on their judgment about that, so I'm not gonna worry about that. So, but it wasn't until again I had an opportunity. I met this brother and listening to him as I did, I listened to him and ended up getting Then I Was Guided books, and I had that whole set of books, and we had a dialogue, and that dialogue, it did just, it struck me as wild that, when you read the seerahs of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it didn't go off into a bunch of detail about what happened after the Prophet died and the climate of the Muslim Ummah. It left it off. So that's what my search, I began from historical perspective. My search for just authenticity. Once I went to that, it immediately, my conversion changed. I stopped not identifying myself as a Sunni And I understand that both terms, again, are still political, Sunni and Shia, from a perspective of what was going on then. I realized some of the rituals and some of the things that's done counteracted things that was done from a historical perspective. So, but I do acknowledge that, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't leave us wondering. He completed deen like he said. So, I find comfort in reading hadith from the Ahlul Bayt. I find comfort in understanding that bridge that was there, as it was, but with all the previous prophets. That hikmah stayed in the family of the prophet. It's hard being a Muslim right now. Just from things that's going on everywhere, and especially within our own communities. It's not embracing to come to certain masjids. It's not. It's wild. It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful reinforcement of the what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said at the time and things that was going to come. The same influence that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has had. The Ahlul Bayt constantly reminds you of that you're gonna face toil, struggles. You're gonna not, things not gonna happen the way things are supposed to happen, But again, Allah is the greatest of planners. It teaches you to stay steadfast, stay focused, don't deviate from the established way that we're supposed to act in terms of just the principle-oriented way that we're supposed to establish ourselves. And, one of the most beautiful stories, I think, that always touched me is Imam Hassan alayhi salam and Hussein alayhi salam. When the old man was doing his wudu wrong, and they seen it, and they saw it, and then they went to him, and they told him, which one of us, hey, which one of us is doing our wudu wrong? And they set out to do the wudu, and he acknowledged his own error, and it wasn't their error, but that was the most beautiful way for them to go and to say that to him and do that to him. And I think, again, the Ahlul Bayt constantly remind us, period, on what it is to approach people, how do you treat people, That's caring for another person's emotional state. You could walk up to him, hey, you're doing it wrong, and yell and shout at them. And, people are fragile emotionally in certain types of ways. So it teaches, again, the Ahlul Bayt, when you read those types of stories and you read their history in Karbala and the different battles that they fought, and how many of their family members were destroyed and killed. It teaches you again to don't react out of anger or emotion because of, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, man, the Prophet Muhammad told them vividly. He told Aisha, not Aisha, astaghfirullah. He told Fatima alayhi salam, and she laughed and she smiled, and he told her, what's gonna happen. I gotta die. She started crying, and you're gonna be the first to reach me. She started laughing. So he kept saying that Hassan Hussein alayhi salam was gonna be the martyrs of paradise. So the Prophet, no doubt, told them what was coming. And to see the way that they handled themselves, they still trusted in Allah. They still showed us again, now, even to this day, persecution, people being persecuted all around the world. If they look to the Ahlul Bayt, we know how to deal with that persecution in a way that's pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm just as human as the next person. In no way, shape, form, or fashion am I not prone to error or just downright foolishness. Just acting in a way that's pleasing to me. But for the most part, Islam gives me a parameter. Whereas I used to put profits before people, you know what I mean, in terms of money. And now you could say Islam has given me the ability to place the prophets, alayhi salam, before profits, monetary profits. So Islam teaches you, again, this as a shower. If I took one shower today, and then it's not going to prevent my body from smelling, 24 hours from now. Islam with, how salat is, how salat is done 5 times or more a day. Islam teaches you to constantly come back to the middle, to constantly come back to La ilaha illallah, constantly come back to that, even Islam forces you to do that throughout your day. You got to come back when you're making prayer. So again, if we understand as human beings, we habitual people, again, if praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes a habit, our lives change. Not only does it change for our own selves, but it changes again collectively for the people that's around us, the environment. So, Islam gives me hope that not to act like an uncivilized person, man. I could literally just be atheist and not care about, I believe in the concept of a heaven and a hell just based upon, I know I done got away with some things that I done that was shielded because I sneak and I done it. And then you think you get away with it, so you don't think you have to pay for those things. But, Islam gave me the ability to take comfort in the fact that you're going to be held accountable for the things that you do in this life. You're going to be held accountable for those things. And it might appear to the world that, again, the bomb in Hiroshima was dropped on some people. The Native Americans were slaughtered. The people in Palestine being slaughtered. And some people be like, well, why would you believe in a God that allowed these things to happen? That's, people ask you those things all the time. Well, again, Islam gives me an understanding that man has the capacity, man, to go. The pendulum swings both ways. A man could be benevolent, and he exhibit the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all his actions and his ways. But the pendulum swings both ways. He can just be just as devious and diabolical as Shaitan and exhibit all his actions and his ways. So Islam clearly points that out to me. Clearly gives you an option to be the party of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be the party of Shaitan. It gives you that option. And to me, that's what Islam takes the covers off of the mystery that the world is. It's not really a mystery at the end of the day. You got to choose. You can be the party of truth, or you could be the party of jahiliyyah. You could be the party of dunya. That's what most people want. Most people chasing the world, the lights, the casinos, the cars, the girls.